Assalamualaikum Hamza, कैसे हैं आप? Today we have Humza Khan from Binance here in Pakistan. Humza basically leads growth and operations here in Binance Pakistan. So आज हमने इनको invite किया है YPay कहानी के लिए and we'll have a discussion about investments, blockchain, crypto and so on and so forth. So let's hear it from Humza. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam, Sarfraz bhai. Thank you for having me first of all. It's a pleasure being here as always, and thank you for inviting me to your new office. It's a great setup first of all.
So Humza, why don't we start with a little bit of your background and how did you start and how did you get to where you are here at Binance?
It's been a long and eventful journey. I have been really I've been really fortunate enough to come from an engineering background. So मेरा background था robotics engineering में, जो यहाँ 10 से ही मैंने किया था 18 में. तो 18 में graduate होके फिर went back to Dubai, वहाँ jobs ढूंढने की कोशिश की, पाकिस्तान में कोशिश की. एक तो engineering की मिलती नहीं, right? कहीं नहीं मिलती. आप ढूंढो भाई, saturation तो वैसे ज़्यादा होती है, काफ़ी ज़्यादा, and you try to find something useful. तो डिग्री का उस तरह से मुझे फ़ायदा नहीं हुआ. Luckily मैंने कहा चलो let's try and venture into something new, which for me उस time पे marketing था. After like applying to 600ish jobs, जो by the way मेरे LinkedIn पे check कर लीजिएगा, 600ish jobs मैंने apply किया था, उनमें मुझे नहीं आया था. And then marketing मैंने try किया. I started making videos about it कि भाई आज मैंने ये सीखा है, this is what you can take away from it, like bite-sized content. And luckily enough, 3 months of doing that, I got offers from 3 different places.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. So marketing agency, consulting, as well as a startup. तो वहाँ से I had a period of being jobless for a while. तो अब ऐसा था कि भाई करना ही है, दोस्तों को देख लिया सब जॉब कर रहे हैं तो तीनों ही कर लेते.
Wow.
Which in hindsight probably wasn't the best decision mentally and physically, but that went for a few months, and then I decided to pursue our startup full time. We did that for about 8 months from then, which turned out to be my introduction to blockchain and cryptos. Luckily enough, there I was looking at a small team. We were a small team. I was the only marketing guy there, looking at ops, looking at like pitches, etc. You name it, right? Startup में आपको ही पता है, everyone's wearing.
Yeah, we are wearing multiple hats.
Yeah. So did a variety of things. Hopefully provided value, and alhamdulillah, we went from 0 to about $50 million in valuation within 6 to 8 months. Which,
so by the way guys, for those who don't know about Humza's previous startup, just a brief intro about that.
My previous startup, it was on a DeFi based exchange. It was DeFi based exchange. Initially we had staking, then we moved into trading, virtual AMM based trading, and currently it's live right now on the Polkadot ecosystem. You can find it under the name of Firefly. It's pretty good. It's still going on, alhamdulillah, and got a lot of learnings from there. And since then, I had the sort of opportunity to come into Binance and sort of spread my wings, see blockchain from a different perspective, from DeFi, decentralized से हटके centralized में. उसमें क्या issues होते हैं, क्या challenges होते हैं, how do you grow centralized finance, how do you cater for a market like Pakistan sustainably, as well as working within the bounds of whatever regulations may come, right? So alhamdulillah, it's been about a year at Binance, a year and some change, and I've been really proud of some of the achievements we've done in this region so far.
That's great, mashallah. So we hear like a lot of hot takes on especially on blockchain and Bitcoin here in Pakistan, and since we have you here, I would primarily ask how many of those, like exactly कितनी holding है पाकिस्तानियों की in Binance particularly in form of Bitcoin, and what do you see Binance culminating into in the near and distant future in Pakistani regulatory ecosystem and bounds?
Okay, I think as for the first one, we had a report earlier this year by some regulators in the country stating that Pakistanis hold about $20 billion worth of value within this system. Now, this consists of a variety of assets, not just in Binance, but apart from it, like I mentioned, decentralized finance as well. So while I can't confirm if that's true or false, right, at that point, but I can definitely say that we can definitely go towards that if Pakistanis, push towards that ecosystem, which is prevalent through the reports we're seeing internationally. अब internationally आप देखें हर साल आती है crypto ecosystem growth, right? Percentage growth per capita Pakistan की last year we ranked number 3. This year we're ranked number 6. मेरा बस ये खौफ है कि hopefully we're still in the top 10s going forward क्योंकि while we had the first step, right? While we had taken the right steps, हम लोग इसको innovation stifle काफ़ी करते हैं, right? कि many people here आप random बंदे से मिले, they might have done something in blockchain, but they don't necessarily state it publicly, right? Many reasons for that, right? Primarily FUD, negativity, etc., etc. But with Binance and the sort of regulatory system we're seeing, Binance as an exchange, हमारी policy रही है from the get-go कि हम regulations chase करें. And you being from a financial institution, आप तो regulated हैं, right? So you know the challenges that come with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you know people don't want to go that route.
Yeah, बिल्कुल ऐसा.
किसी को शौक नहीं है, right? But as a company, consumer protection is our first thing, right? अब number one रहना, obviously it's not easy. You have to be consumer first, user first, and then sort of innovative as well. So उन aspects को लेके we want to definitely work with regulators, innovators within the country, Pakistan as well, to build out, to flesh out this ecosystem. So I think in the next year or two, given the circumstances, we are definitely pushing. We have been, and the more conversations we're invited to, the more value we can bring, I think, in the near future as well.
Right. That's insightful. That's helpful. Coming back to like the recurring theme of the conversations जो हम यहाँ पे करते हैं, what is your experience with personal finance, investing, savings? Have you आपने कभी dabble किया उसके साथ decentral के अंदर या even centralized उसके अंदर Pakistani equities, US? What's your experience with that?
Yeah, of course, here and there. I was broke at a certain point. I had zero. I had nothing, and this was back job वगैरह नहीं थी, economic crisis, COVID hit everything.
Okay.
तो उसके बाद I tried to learn a lot about personal finance. जो पहला challenge मुझे मिला था was कि there's a lot of content, there's a lot of resources, there's a lot of to-dos, there's a lot of gurus, right? कि भाई आप ये सीखो, do it like this, इसमें invest करो. तो it's hard to pick and choose, especially given कि आपके बैंक में क्या है, आपके जेब में क्या है, आप इससे क्या कर सकते हो. तो I think the first sort of hit was कि भाई personal finance को कैसे समझूं, क्या करना चाहिए. Once, and I think for me, my learning was through experimentation, like कि मैं पैसे यहाँ लगाऊँ, वहाँ लगाऊँ, right? I've personally dabbled primarily in like assets such as cryptos, right? Of course, since it's the domain I understand the most compared to traditional finance. But from Pakistan, right? I've seen a report very recent, not a report, किसी ने tweet डाली थी कि अगर आप 2018 में अगर आपके पास 100 रुपए होते, वो आपने इन्वेस्ट किया होता 3 सेक्टर्स में, आपके पास क्या क्या रिटर्न्स होते हैं आज. 3 सेक्टर्स थे, रियल एस्टेट, गाड़ी और आपका स्टॉक, right? So I'm very shocking to me was कि आप when you put it in stock in the last 3-4 years, and again we were discussing this before the video, कि how downturn in markets happening. Right now you'd have about 80 something rupees, right? Again, this is general, this is not like smart investments. In cars you'd have 100, in cars you'd have 180, and in like real estate you have like 130, 140 rupees, right? यानी आप देख सकते हैं क्या क्या disparity है. But I think that being said, I still haven't dabbled into all of this much, क्योंकि again it's while people can tell you what to do, right? You need to understand smart investments from like एक macro से, और फिर क्योंकि it's your hard-earned money, right? कि आप कैसे उसको डाल रहे हो.
Exactly.
So smart investments, I think in local finance is something I personally haven't pursued, but I know a lot of people that have.
All right. Yeah. Again, so at YPay, हम लोग we believe in this, like learning by doing. उसके अंदर हम लोग basically ये करते हैं कि we have basically started to gather a lot of, so as we grow, so now we have a few thousand customers on our platform.
Mashallah.
So as we grow, we take a lot of user feedback, and we take pride in कि हम लोग जो है basically अपने user के जो feedback है उसके अंदर जो भी चीज़ें लाइक जो भी पॉइंटर्स होते हैं वी ट्राई टू इनकॉर्पोरेट दैट एज फास्ट एज वी कैन. So what we are trying to do is create that. So as we said कि बहुत सारा content है, किधर से शुरू करें नहीं पता चलता. So what we are trying to do is curate. So हर बंदे का जो personal finance की journey होगी वो different होगी. We understand that. So we are trying to curate that journey of personal finance for every single individual who signs up and basically starts. So based on a lot of behaviors and a lot of different inputs about that particular person, हम बेसिकली उसका जो पर्सनल फाइनेंस का जो एक जर्नी है पूरी, वेयर टू स्टार्ट, वेयर टू गो इनटू एंड वेयर नॉट टू गो इनटू, वो उसकी हम पूरी क्यूरेट करके एंड ऑल्सो प्रोवाइडिंग देम द टूल्स टू इन्वेस्ट. करेंटली हम लोग वी आर ऑपरेटिंग द म्यूचुअल फंड मार्केट इन पाकिस्तान. वी हैव प्लान्स ऑफ एक्सपैंडिंग द नंबर ऑफ एसेट क्लासेस दैट वी ऑफर. तो that is something that we are doing, and that is something that we feel we add value primarily in this ecosystem.
तो क्रिप्टो एसेट क्लास डाल रहे हो?
Crypto asset class आप लीगल करवा दें, we will definitely have it on board. So jokes apart, I particularly am very like optimistic that Pakistan and also other countries should take cryptocurrencies and cryptocurrency exchanges more like break it down, create regulations around it, and try to incorporate that in like official capacity. So I am primarily an advocate to that.
Yeah, that's perfect. I think उसके काफ़ी examples going into 2023, right? One of the biggest examples we'll see at the start of the year is the Bank of Japan, what it's doing, right? This is an example from many. So Bank of Japan is looking to launch its own CBDC, right? It's going to make it available to everyone, and that's like a good step. That's step in the right direction. क्योंकि जैसे आपने कहा ना, learning by doing. This applies to regulators as well, right? This applies to everyone in the ecosystem. हमने भी सीखा, I think हमने primarily referring to like crypto native people, right? Everyone learned it by building it out, fleshing it out, right? तो आप without being in the ecosystem, you can't build sustainable regulations, right? Case in point being many different jurisdictions in the world keep this asset class as even real estate, as a security, as a commodity, right, as a bond. People are putting their own understanding कि अगर आप उसको real estate पे रखते हो, then उसका taxation is on the real estate bracket, right? For example, तो that's a good start too, right? क्या आपका जब आएगा inflow outflow होगा, you'll start seeing issues, फिर आप उसको resolve करोगे, right? Instead of resolving or making regulations through litigation, जो हम देख रहे हैं, unfortunate but it's true. This is also a good use case. But sort of coming back to sort of personal finance, right? For me, like as a beginner into the Pakistani financial market or mutual funds or stock exchange, right? Is it easy to come into say 100 रुपए लेके आ गया? Is it easy for me to get started in that? Or is there a barrier to entry in चीज़ों में?
I think हमारी जो finance industry है, we like to basically throw around fancy terms.
अच्छा.
And try to basically make it as sophisticated as we can. I think fintech के अंदर ये है. तो हम लोग ये करते हैं कि basically we have made it as simple as we can. I mean, we are still open to suggestions. Can we make it more simple? But right now it's as simple as it can be. So right now we are one of the earliest movers in this market here in Pakistan, and we take pride in saying that we have the easiest onboarding journey. So the KYC, the verifications, all of that. So there's a certain latency to the system, how it works, but the system has become very easy and transparent. So if you want to bring 500 rupees aaj, you can start investing into any mutual fund of your choice that is listed onto our platform.
Okay.
You just have to be savvy enough to actually know how to use your digital wallet or your mobile bank, and I think that's it.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty interesting. That's like about $2, हमारे उस पर $10 है तो सही है, like that's amazing. That's a good theory. आप finance में I think mainly primarily जो हमारे बुजुर्ग हैं उनको वही होता है कि barrier to entry इतने पैसे होने चाहिए, ये होना चाहिए to get started. But that's cool.
And the thing is कि a lot of people, there's a lot of different, like उनके बहुत सारे जो उनकी requirements होती हैं, they're different. So a lot of people जो the tweet that you're referring to, I remember that tweet. A lot of people don't have like a lot of enough upfront capital to buy a car.
बिल्कुल.
They don't have enough time to invest into a real estate. And real estate की एक illiquidity भी होती है ना कि like if I buy a piece of property, I'll take time to dispose that off. So like एक realtor के पास जाना, एक पूरे उसको process को complete करना, so it's not very liquid. Stock market is very highly like liquid, लेकिन उसके अंदर फिर you win some, you lose some.
Of course.
वो हो जाती है चीज़. So as a starting point for a first time investor, I think mutual fund gives you the right amount of liquidity and also a very decent amount of return in comparison to other like fixed deposit savings bonds इनसे थोड़ा सा और ऊपर आता है. So this is the rationale behind it. So we are definitely working on like different asset classes.
Okay, that's interesting because again, like these things not in my comprehension so far, but I'm trying to learn a lot more कि भाई ये सब क्या होता है क्योंकि it's pretty interesting with the asset classes, especially Pakistan में हमारे diaspora में asset classes और उनके returns are very sort of out there. तो उसका definitely देखना. So yeah, I'll definitely sort of check out.
Definitely, you're most welcome. So just like on that note, I had a very like quick question spring into my mind. So there is a lot of like negativity and like negative news coming up about crypto, about certain companies, about like things that are going down in crypto. So how do you see like the crypto as an industry bouncing back, and like what do you see in the like next year or uske baad?
Yeah, definitely. I think the one redeeming factor that this industry has is that it's very resilient. And this is, in the last decade, we've seen multiple things happen to it, and we've always sort of bounced back, this industry as a whole. I think each time what we see is a refinement of new developing products, new use cases that come by. Good case in point, this year, despite all the negativity, Ethereum, the merge, the surge, all of that, very cool stuff, very cool developments. Some really, really successful use cases have come out in decentralized finance, right? And really, really cool regulations. People are working on really good regulations. Kafi jurisdictions are transitioning into building authorities that look after this. Case in point being Dubai, right? Dubai has building the world's first sort of body, regulatory body that looks after this asset class primarily, right? Which is really cool considering they delved into this journey about what, a year and a half ago, right? So despite all the negative news, I think people right now, यहाँ sentiment हमारे crypto industry में रखा है, सर नीचे काम ऊपर, बस काम करते रहो. It's the development of a new age. We're seeing a lot of cool stuff, and as far as the industry goes, it's like taking out, I think, taking out the trash कहने लगा था. It's like seeing what can happen and how can we prevent it, right? So we can now take preventative measures to have a more sustainable ecosystem going forward, 2023, 2024, and onward to 2030, where the real use cases of this finance, of this ecosystem can come bearing fruit, right? That's primarily what I see. That's my view on things, and hopefully, Binance has a huge role to play in that, fostering regulations, and every other sort of crypto industry company or any individuals that come by. So it's a small industry. Everyone's trying to make their mark. People are really, really smart in this space. I definitely recommend to those that haven't sort of delved into this space, get your hands dirty, read into this stuff. Obviously, इन चीज़ों में tutorial videos और ऐसी चीज़ें कम हैं, पिछले 2-3 सालों में काफ़ी बनी है. But for a newcomer, there's a lot more resource now. There's a lot more opportunity. Consider it as a new age of internet. कि आज अगर internet आता, ठीक है, what would you do? Would you start creating TikToks आज से, or would you wait another 20 years to do it, right? So the value for everyone in the chain is prevalent, is ready. Start building. There's ideas की कोई कमी नहीं है, but the vision is the same. कि this will bring about the next age of finance, the next age of seamless transactions, the next age of internet. And that can be through our real life, आपने कोई shopping की, or that can be through, you know, basic applications such as home appliances, right? So really, really cool stuff that we're expecting to see in this space. Negative news aside, I think one of the really good achievements we've had in Pakistan for the last year is that we've had the opportunity to present this to multiple schools, universities around the region. कि Binance Academy के through आपके पास you have all the resources you need to get started, because we're used to consuming content in a certain format, right? We want to make it bite-sized, we want to make it really quick to understand. So from beginner all the way to advanced, we have all those courses available, and we've been fortunate enough to sort of pilot them through Pakistan, through many universities. Next year, some really good news to start the year would be some of the partnerships that we're currently finalizing, and that is inshallah to be on a government level. So we're looking at mass scale education, and very sustainable, very free of course, free of cost, anyone can join. And from there, sort of transitioning into a more healthy ecosystem, or more questions on कि भाई what are the intricacies of XYZ compared to भाई ये legal है नहीं है, इसको क्या करें, इसमें हमारा डूब रहा पैसा. Like, it's not just about money, right? The financial opportunity exists, no doubt about it, but you know, let's focus on the next age of developing good things.
Thank you, Humza, for coming here, and it was glad to have you here, and बड़ा अच्छा लगा. So this is something that we are very interested about the crypto, and especially seeing Binance having a presence here in Pakistan, and also like a lot of work being done here on the ground.
Yeah, of course. Firstly, thank you for having me, and hopefully I think in the next few years we can see a mix between both traditional and new, and let's see where we can go from there. Thank you again.
That would be great. Oh, thank you.